School already this year. So Will Harris back in the starting lineup after he received a red card 2 matches ago. Had to sit out against Toledo in the last match. Dakota Lobsiger is getting the start as well. And a player we haven't seen a lot of this season due to injury, Adam McAleenan, is starting in the midfield alongside Alexandra Frank. And then up top, we've got pretty much the usual suspects with Beto Anaya, Maxim Owako, Riley Lynch. And then getting the start as well, Usman Jallo will be working up front as well for the boys in blue. So still a strong lineup, even though Fort Wayne, they're basically out of players at this point, to say the least. You know, some of the players had to go back to school and get things started, get ready for preseason. So still, though, strong lineup, which is something Coach Avery had planned for, to make sure that from top to bottom they've got the depth that they needed when this time came. So we're away here at Shields Field Stadium. Cleveland in the white kits. Fort Wayne in the blue. Fort Wayne will be playing their typical high pressing style that they've played for much of the season. Here's Harris receiving the ball. Partnership of Harris and Sproat anchoring that back line there. And we were told multiple times that number 3, Christopher Kessler, was their starting goalkeeper for Cleveland. However, it appears number 99, Andrew Cook, is the one starting in goal for Cleveland. If you're watching out there from the lake shores of Lake Erie, starting lineup for Cleveland, at least from what we can tell: Kohler, Groves, Hoover, Rimac, Caleri, Folds, Hain, secondary Rimac, Joseph Rimac, Elbana, McLaughlin, and we believe Cook is starting in goal for Cleveland. So the through ball, trying to find Hoover, but Bjerg takes care of business. The ball is played out for a throw-in for Fort Wayne here in the opening minutes. And both of these teams have they've met once before this season, so Fort Wayne will be looking to take some revenge, because in the first matchup against the two sides, Cleveland came out the victor 2-1, having played down a man for 85 minutes of that match. So Fort Wayne will not be happy about that result. They'll certainly remember in the matchup early on in the season. But regardless, they've got bigger fish to fry. They need to get a win tonight if they stand a chance to get into the playoffs. got a player down for Fort Wayne. Max Amawako took a little bit of a hard hit there, but nothing doing. Statistician Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there was a yellow card delivered there at all, right? Yep. Never a ball to the face is never a comfortable thing. You're the ones who laughed, not me. Amawako's first touch lets him down. Ball turned over to Cleveland. Good bit of skill there from Albana to retain possession. Here's McLaughlin. Ball over the top, trying to find Marco Rimac, but wisely decided not to go for it as he was standing off sides, he realized. Harris out to Moriyasu. Him and Jallo do well to connect. He's trying to drive in to make something happen. Cleveland do well just to stand him up. Fort Wayne forced backwards, but probably wisely so to try to keep possession of the ball. Fort Wayne doing well to keep that ball moving through the midfield. Here's Lobsiger. Macalina plays Moriyasu out here on the left. Good ball into Lynch. Was able to poke it out to Lobsiger. Good bit of combination here. Lobsiger able to get on the end of it. But a good clearance by Shaquille Brown. And we apologize in advance if we are stating the wrong names for the jersey numbers. We are given one roster, and we know every so often teams will swap kit numbers for players, so we can just only go off of what our roster says. A foul against Cleveland, and Beto Anaya not happy about it. It didn't look too menacing there, but I have to imagine if he was upset, he probably didn't feel very good. But it's going to give Fort Wayne a free kick in a very dangerous position. Beto Anaya, one of those dangerous players, taking the free kicks this season. Fort Wayne, unfortunately, lost the man they would probably be taking the free kick. Tom Abramson. Tom Abramson recalled back to school, Florida Atlantic, along with teammate Victor Claudel. So those are two of the stronger players that we unfortunately lost due to returning to school, which is an understandable thing. So Anaya and Harris standing over it. I wonder if Will Harris is going to try to go for it. Anaya strikes it instead, but right to the wall. Harris on the left foot. Referee signals offsides for Fort Wayne, and the fans here at Shields Field Stadium, little surprised that there wasn't a handball there, but referee says nothing doing. Harris does well to win the first ball there, and it's going to be a throw-in for Cleveland. Hoover not able to retain possession, but Cleveland, get another throw-in, and the man with the flowing locks, Marco Rimac, looks like he's going to take a long throw here, try to put it into a dangerous position. The ball only goes as far as about the 20-yard line, but Bjerg prevents it from going out for a corner. That was Noah Albana on the shot there for Cleveland. Moriasu's pass, not able to get onto the foot of Frank, and Fort Wayne's dispossessed. Here's Brown. Sproat put under pressure here. Moriasu made a questionable pass back to him, and Joseph Rimac able to put Fort Wayne defender under a little bit of pressure. Foul against Cleveland. Goes the way of Fort Wayne. Harris plays the ball out to Lopsager, finds his feet. Imawako just able to get around his first defender, but the cross not able to connect, but Fort Wayne retained possession. Here's McAleenan. Moriasu's first touch lets him down there. A throw in for Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne trying to spread those Cleveland defenders out with the short passes, but Cleveland remaining stout so far. Frank driving, slowed down by McLaughlin. Milwaukee and Anaya linking up. Jallo, the layoff to Lynch, not able to come off, and Cleveland clear the lines at least temporarily. And a bit of an interesting choice from Coach Avery for positioning for Max Amawako. Typically, we see him on the left side here where Usman Jallo is playing, and we've seen him be dangerous on this left side a number of times this season, if not scoring goals, creating chances. So I'm surprised he's not playing on the favored left side here, but perhaps it's going to pay off here with Jallo. And the referee calls a foul against Usman Jallo of Fort Wayne, just going in for the goalkeeper there, says the referee. Not sure that was foul worthy, but referee trying to protect the goalkeeper there. Still, Jallo every right to go for that ball, but nevertheless, it's a foul against Fort Wayne. Will Harris trying to play Riley Lynch in, but called off sides. Shaquille Brown able to hold off Lynch regardless, making sure Fort Wayne's top goal scorer doesn't get an opportunity on goal, but I'd be surprised if Lynch doesn't have one or two opportunities before the 90 minutes is up here at Shields Field. Been a very dangerous player for Fort Wayne. I believe 6 or 7 goals so far this season in league play, not counting the 3 or 4 friendlies Fort Wayne has played. Cleveland in the attack there. Sproat does well to slow it down. Ball played out to Connor Hain. Fort Wayne slowing them down. Here's Rimac. Does well to keep the ball in play, but Fort Wayne's going to come away with it. And the first yellow card of the match delivered to Cleveland. I think that was Connor Hain, although I can't quite tell. Number 26, Noah Albana, is the player who received the yellow card for Cleveland. Frank trying to find Lynch. Not able to do so, and Cleveland trying to come the other way. Marco Rimac not able to keep the ball in. And so far in the opening 15 minutes, Fort Wayne has dominated possession, but they haven't really been able to break down the Cleveland back line. There's been 1 or 2 balls over the top, but nothing really doing. Cleveland doing well to pack numbers in the middle just to slow things down for Fort Wayne, and then even 1 or 2 times springing a counterattack on Fort Wayne that ultimately hasn't resulted in anything. But I feel like if you're a Cleveland player, it's a job well done so far. James Hoover trying to play that ball in. And the shot from Quinn Groves is well off mark. Not really worrying Burek. Lynch dispossessed. Here's Hoover. Hoover trying to play a ball over the top, but not able to find anybody. Harris on the ball now. And if Fort Wayne's going to be successful in breaking down this defense, they need to play a little bit more quickly through the middle there just to try to stretch these defenders out of the center. Here's Lopsiger. Able to get around his man there. And not able to retain possession. A miscommunication between Frank and Riley sees possession go to Cleveland. Hoover was on his horse there, ready to receive that long ball, but deflects off of a Fort Wayne player for a Cleveland throw-in here in the 20th minute. Hain. Hoover does well to play a dummy and able to get past Harris, and Burig does well to come up big to keep things level here. That was a very good heads-up play by Hoover to just throw Harris off his step enough to see him into goal. It's going to be a corner kick for Cleveland. Ball delivered into the back post, but it's going to be well over everybody and going to go out for a goal kick for Fort Wayne. Jallo just able to keep it in bounds, but good tackle delivered by Jallo to retain possession. Here's Lynch. He's in on goal. Plays it to the backside. Amawako slots it home for Fort Wayne in the 21st minute. And Blue up 1-0 over Cleveland Force. A great heads-up play by Lynch just to pick his head up and see he had Amawako on the backside. And this play started with Jallo with that tackle at the top of the attacking third, and Fort Wayne keeping possession. And Amawako finishes very well, putting Fort Wayne up 1-0 here in the 22nd minute. So we're back underway here at Shields Field. Foul against Cleveland. And that Burig save looking a little bigger now. That Fort Wayne was able to put that chance into the back of the net. A big save like that, and now a goal. Definitely starting to build the momentum for Fort Wayne. So foul called against Fort Wayne, although I'm not entirely sure where the foul was. A little bit of a scramble in the box there, but regardless, going the way of Cleveland. Brown plays a long ball over top, trying to find Marco Rimac. Moriyasu does well to shield him off just enough, forcing Rimac to do something, but called for a foul instead. McAleenan dispossessed in the middle here. Hoover finding Kyle Folds. Rimac switches to the backside here. Ball's on his foot again. Man backside unmarked, but Fort Wayne gets away with one. Called offsides. Well, it hasn't been totally successful for Cleveland. They've done well to get on the end of some of these balls to their feet up there in the attacking third. Fort Wayne not really stepping in front of them, or at least not quickly enough. So Cleveland able to at least create something there in the attacking third. And Milwaukee, the shot! And a fine save by Andrew Cook, and needed to do so because that shot was cooking. And Milwaukee took that beautifully, and it came off his foot at a blistering pace, giving Fort Wayne a corner kick in the 27th minute. Naya to deliver the cross. Not able to find anybody. And Milwaukee chases the ball down. Here he is. Throw in for Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne slowing things down here. Not forcing the issue. Here's Lobsiger. The flick from Anaya finds the foot of Lobsiger. He's just getting caught in between two minds here, but Fort Wayne retains possession. Lobsiger trying to play Lynch in, but he wasn't in the right space to get on the end of it there. Cleveland play it out of bounds for a throw-in. Jallo out to Lopsiger. Frank and Amawako linking up on the right side there. Fort Wayne and Cleveland player collided, but referee says nothing doing. Get on up. And now he stops the play. The Cleveland player, can't quite see who it is, but a little slow to get up after colliding with Lopsiger. That was Joseph Rimac. And referee gives possession back to Cleveland. Good tackle there by Sproat. Forced to play it out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for Cleveland. Third or fourth time Anaya has got fouled. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another yellow card here soon if they keep fouling him like that just for persistence sake. Anaya has done well in the midfield so far. The adjective I'm going to use is shifty. Not in a bad way, a good way. He's been able to move that ball around quickly, throw players off their step. And the commentator's curse fell right on his face there. Cleveland coming away with it. Here's Rimac. Now it comes back, try to win it. The shot from Kyle Folds goes over the bar, and it's going to be a throw-in, or excuse me, a goal kick for Fort Wayne. Here's Frank trying to play a driven ball out to Amawako, who's now switched sides. Usman Jallo has now playing in the middle, and Riley Lynch playing on the right side there. See if that changes the dynamic for Fort Wayne, but Cleveland is the one on the attack now. Hoover trying to get on the end of that ball, not able to do so. It's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Throw-in for Cleveland. Obana plays the switch out to Groves. Tries to deliver a cross in. It's going to be a corner kick for Cleveland. Short cross in. Burig collects the more dangerous of the play there down in the attacking third. Keep possession for Fort Wayne. Jallo not able to get on the end of it. Going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Here's Moriyasu. And Moako trying to get on the end of it, battling with Hain. Not able to win it, but Fort Wayne come back with possession. Here's Lynch. Ball into Frank, not able to find his feet. And I've just taken a look at the social medias for South Bend and Dayton, and I do not see a score update in that match. Kicking off about the same time as ours did. Fort Wayne got to make things work, though. Here's Lynch. Ball gets caught under his feet, and Joseph Rimac does well to take the ball off of him and at least thwart the immediate danger. Good ball in from Anaya, and Frank not able to deliver the same. Just teammates on the front line there. Fort Wayne doing well to keep the ball under pressure. Not a great ball in to Jallo, but Brown does well to clear his line. And a foul against Anaya. At midfield there, not necessarily a dangerous position, but foul nonetheless. Fort Wayne trying to play quickly down this right side. Emawako lining up for the shot, deflected. Rebound bounces out to Fort Wayne. McAleenan does well to play it out to Moriyasu. Anaya, ball over top, not able to find Riley Lynch. And that was a good opportunity for Fort Wayne there. Lynch was in the right space, but just a little too much on it. Here's Lynch trying to drive past his defender, just able to get around him, cross in, deflected off of Groves. He does well to just stick a foot in. It's going to be a corner kick for Fort Wayne. And kind of uncharacteristically for Fort Wayne, not able to use enough of their speed to get around the outside backs of the opposing team, something they've done fairly well on this year. Cross delivered in. Cleared out by McLaughlin. Here's Anaya again. Got to get a second chance. Frank. Ball glances off of his head. Frank, a good flick on to Lynch. Big first touch, able to keep a hold of it, though. The shot from Lopsiger deflected, and not surprising, 3 or 4 guys in the middle there, making sure those shots don't come off easily. Here's Amawako playing in Jallo. Jallo. And the referee calls a foul again. Excuse me. Stand corrected by my team here. Thank you guys very much. Offsides called against Jallo. Regardless, Cook did well to come off his line to stop the threat initially. It was a good breakaway save. The statistician says, and the social media man says, they're my VAR, which I very much appreciate. Jallo does well to hold up the ball here. Frank trying to play Lynch in, but that touch just letting him down there. Might have done well to just maybe try to put one of those on frame, put a shot on frame there, but decided to be unselfish instead. Naya. Naya and Lopsiger linking up in the midfield there. Here's Will Harris getting up into the mix a little bit. Naya able to retain possession. Good 1-2 by Naya and Frank there, but Brown is able to clear his lines. It's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne, and referee just pausing play here temporarily to check on Anaya. It looked like he was caught by perhaps an errant foot on the way through. We just got an update from the match in Dayton, Ohio. South Bend have scored in the 38th minute. So they are up 1-0 against Dayton. So if the results hold, South Bend will take the second place spot in the Valley Division, and Fort Wayne will be left out of the playoff contention. Still a lot of soccer to play this evening, but certainly not something you want to hear if you're a Fort Wayne fan. But Dayton has been an improved team in these last couple of matches. They beat Toledo. They drew one of their other matches in the final stretch here. And certainly a 1-0 scoreline. You're not out of it, but we know that South Bend is a very dangerous team. Kanan Dos Santos, who was the goal scorer, I believe is the second leading goal scorer in the Valley Division behind his teammate Tim noting Riley Lynch, I believe, is the third top goal scorer in the league and trying to make something happen there and not able to do so. And referee stops the play to check on Shaquille Brown for Cleveland. And another update from Dayton. It's a quick 1-2 punch. South Bend now up 2-0 over the Dayton Dutch Lions. Goal coming in the 39th minute. I've got one eye on the match here and one eye on Twitter. And I missed what the stoppage time here. 3 minutes added on to the first half. Fort Wayne will try to maybe add a second here just before going into halftime. Here's Harris. Harrison Sproat bringing it up the pitch here. Naya plays Lynch in. He's going to get on the end of it. He's got some support in Amawako, who does well to evade his defender, retain possession. Here's Anaya. A flick from Frank doesn't come off to Lynch. And Anaya has gone down. He's just kind of sitting there, not getting up. Long ball in, collected by Burig, and I got a feeling we've got a substitution coming here in the final minutes. Or Avery, actually, we've seen before, Avery probably will wait till halftime to have that substitute come in. We're so close to halftime here. Avery probably will elect to play with 10 men. And I'm going to consult my team here. I didn't really see what happened. I'm being told it was a non-contact injury. And if you're Beto Anaya, you're hoping it's not anything serious. At the end of the USL2 season, you're going into a sophomore season at, I believe, Bowling Green, where you're going to be looking for minutes, and you certainly don't want to come in injured. And the trainer still attending to Anaya. Can't quite tell if it's a knee or a calf. But certainly addressing that right leg for Anaya. He's up and moving around, which is good news. Hopefully just a little bit of maybe some hydration issues. Just a calf cramp perhaps, but I have to imagine he'll probably see the rest of this half from the touchline here. with maybe only about a minute to go. And he's on the touchline here talking with the fourth official. It looks like he's going to wave him back on, and he feels comfortable. And Anaya actually going to go sit on the bench, as I initially suspected. So Fort Wayne temporarily playing with 10 men just to see the half out. And it has to be only seconds left here in this first half at Shields Field Stadium. Long ball over top. Not able to get over top. Cleveland clear their lines. Here's Brown. Played to McLaughlin, and referee blows for halftime here at Shields Field Stadium. Fort Wayne FC take the 1-0 lead into the locker room. And make sure to stay tuned to our halftime show sponsored by ProFed. We'll hopefully have some highlights for you. We'll recap the first half and then get things going with the second half. So stay tuned to Fort Wayne FC versus off. And there's your audio. Caleb Saylor, play-by-play commentator. Thank you for sticking around for the halftime show. We've got some highlights to show you here in just a second. Fort Wayne FC, the better team of the first half, although Cleveland having their opportunities. Beto Anaya and Will Harris lining up for the first opportunity for Fort Wayne. The deflection off the wall, but Harris, the shot in to Jallo, and a good save by Cook for Cleveland here. And the next opportunity coming for Cleveland is a good heads-up play by Hoover, who just dummies the ball around Will Harris, but Burig comes up big. But then Fort Wayne in the dying minutes, or at least the first minute after that, able to capitalize. Riley Lynch plays the ball backside to Amawako, and Fort Wayne able to celebrate the 1-0 lead at Shields Field Stadium. Doing a little dance. Fans certainly happy about that. And Fort Wayne take that lead into halftime. And it's good news for the boys in blue, at least on the home front here. But away in Dayton, at last check, South Bend were up 3-0 on Dayton, and that's not the result you want to see if you're a South Bend fan you're a Fort Wayne fan, because you needed South Bend to lose tonight in order to stand a chance to be in the playoffs. But unbeknownst to the Fort Wayne players, they're going to miss out on that opportunity if the results hold. And joining me for at least part of the second half, making her, we'll say, audio debut, is intern Hannah. Hannah is our statistician and part VAR.
Yes, I am.
Keeping me honest here. Hannah's going to join me here for the second half. She'll take over, at least temporarily, as I try to get a drink of water. It's been a busy first half.
And as Caleb alluded before, Fort Wayne FC went ahead and made that change and took Beto Anaya out and put in Nkosi Graham. We'll see where he falls into the lineup here, but probably a like-for-like switch. And it's also looking like a goalkeeper change, possibly, for Cleveland. Because their rosters are stating different numbers, but their jerseys on the field have different numbers, from what I'm understanding here. It said 3 is coming off, but they don't have a 3 on the field, but there was a 99.
Well, I thought I took a look and saw 95 as this goalkeeper's number, which is Grant Glorioso.
And that looks to be who's in now. Yeah. So it looks like Cleveland's made a goalkeeper switch.
So we're off here at Shields Field Stadium for the second half of action. Wayne, once again, in the blue, they're working left to right. Cleveland in the white, working right to left. Long ball by Harris. Graham gets on the end of it. Just a bit more pace on that front line added for Nkosi Graham, or with Nkosi Graham, excuse me. And I a little more of a number 10, whereas Graham more attacking playmaker versus a creative type. Cross in. I'm not sure, Hannah, if that was a shot or a cross.
We'll say for now it's a cross.
Is that because you don't want to mark it down?
Well, it might have been. I'm sure he's thinking if that went in the back of that was definitely a shot, but you really can't tell between the two sometimes.
Yeah, and especially from our position, we're not at the best vantage point up here. We're up and running. If we scored,
Go change on that. As Fort Wayne's going to try to build here out of the back. Moriyasu lost the touch there. And here's Sproat working in tandem with Harris here. The two have been together most of the season, other than Will Harris's red card suspension that he had to face against Toledo this past season. And fouls being called against Cleveland here. It looks like it's going to be against number 4, Kolov. And Fort Wayne will get a free kick here. About 30 yards out. And Alex Frank will be standing over the ball here with Adam Akalinen beside him. Not normally the two to take free kicks in terms of putting shots on goal, but we'll see here if they want to try to serve it into the box with Will Harris and Reed Sproat being the big bodies in there.
Oh no, he's moving back now. Oh, shot.
And there's a shot by Alex Frank, just too high. Didn't get his body over the ball, opened up a little too much. Sends it high over the bar to the right. A different set piece than what we normally see from Fort Wayne FC, and I think that comes with the absence of Abramson, who normally likes to take those set pieces. And here we go, Maxime Awako, shot and goal! 50th minute here for Fort Wayne FC. Brace. Misplay by Cleveland, and Fort Wayne FC is up 2-1. And that's exactly what Fort Wayne needed coming out of the half right here. It's getting another goal, going up 2-0 now. trying to end the season on a high, as right now, from what we know, South Bend is up 3-0, which means that Fort Wayne would be out of the playoff race as of right now. But a goal does help that. Help us leave on a win.
Fort Wayne players might prefer me to stay away from the commentary booth.
I guess I'm the good luck charm, Caleb. I'm sorry.
Fort Wayne FC taking the lead here, or excuse me, extending their lead. 2-0 up on Cleveland. I didn't even run up the steps and I'm still a little bit tired.
Those stairs will kill you.
Yes, they will. Pretty dangerous cross delivered in by Moriyasu, but Cleveland do well to clear their lines. And just as Fort Wayne scores a goal, South Bend does as well. Connor Duggan puts them up 4-0 over Dayton. Like we've been mentioning, if South Bend don't lose, Fort Wayne will be out of the playoffs. Good touch by Amawako to just make sure he keeps possession. Frank, surrounded by two men, he's dispossessed. James Hoover just able to keep possession for Cleveland.
So it looks like with Anaya out, we've dropped Riley Lynch down and put Max Amawako in the center here as a center forward.
That's a good observation. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. And Coach Avery knows what he's doing, and Riley Lynch is another player who can act as a creative playmaker. So sitting him maybe a little bit deeper in that midfield, like Hannah had mentioned, could provide Fort Wayne with just a little bit of a different look. And we can already see that he's dropping in, moving around, trying to find that space just to pull Cleveland defenders out of it.
And Lynch has just done a great job this season. Not only is he the goal scorer leader for Fort Wayne, but just done a great job of being very versatile and being able to play multiple positions for Coach Avery.
Cross in, collected by Burig. Cleveland trying to work the ball up the field. Bad pass by Groves. Hoover's not able to keep it in. Giving Fort Wayne a throw in. Lynch not able to maintain possession. Hoover trying to find, trying to find Joseph Rimac.
And Burek does well to clear his lines there and finds Nkosi Graham, who heads it on to Max Amawako here.
I apologize for the coughing here. If I die, make sure the obituary's nice.
It should be well written. Don't worry. Here's Cleveland. Brown tries to send a ball in, and it's blocked by Usman Jallo. Well defended there by Jallo. Getting to see some minutes this game. Haven't seen much of him in the last couple of matches, but great to see him back in the starting 11 for this match.
And I'd have to imagine at some point we'll see as I was saying, I imagine at some point we'll end up seeing all of the substitutes remaining for Fort Wayne as long as they maintain this lead or maybe even extend it a little bit.
Not sure if Riley Lynch was trying to play somebody through or just was trying to get a shot on goal with the goalkeeper off his line there. Just misplayed it slightly between the two.
Yeah, another one of those ones that, is it a shot? Is it a pass? We'll never know.
Maybe we can ask him after the match.
And I was just going to say, Riley Lynch will never tell. It's one of those ones that if it goes in, yeah, it's definitely a shot.
If it ends up being an assist, oh yeah, definitely was a pass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's McAleenan. Hoover putting Fort Wayne under pressure here, but Fort Wayne doing well. Ball played to Moriyasu, but he's offsides. Cleveland pressing a little higher than what they were in the first half, and certainly, they got to try to make something happen here in the second if they want to pick some points off of Fort Wayne's final matchup tonight.
Well, and Fort Wayne's actually been offside 5 times in this match, and that was actually the first of the second half. But Fort Wayne's been trying their best to send that over the top ball and just have been a step offside a couple of times. Just keep getting caught out by that back line of Cleveland.
Hoover in a good position to deliver a cross in. Dangerous. Well wide of the goal. Kyle Folds, I think. Burig putting a dive on for the photos. Really not threatening his goal. I think after he went to dive, he realized just how wide that shot was going to be. And you mentioned that offsides, Hannah. 5 offsides tonight. I'd be willing if we weren't leading the division in offsides.
Yeah, I think especially with players like Nkosi Graham who just have a lot of speed, Riley Lynch, it's really easy to send a ball through and it just be a touch offside, just being a half step off. And Burig does,
Good effort by Burig there.
Thought he kept it in there.
I'm willing to bet he did, and the referee was out of position.
Well, we're not all perfect, unfortunately.
We're not all perfect, and Burig wasn't perfect there, giving away a corner. It's going to be a corner either way for Cleveland. Playing it out to Groves. Rimac delivering the cross in to Shaquille Brown, and Burig able to collect the high header. Like I said, Cleveland sitting up just a little bit higher than what they were in the first half, which could help expose them at the back. A good turn by Jallo, driving at Brown, and Elect's probably the worst of the two options there, trying to force a pass through to Amawako. He had Riku Moriyasu on his left there. Cleveland coming the other way. Here's Joseph Rimac. Does well to battle for the ball there. But Lopsiger able to clear his line, at least initially. And good shift of position by Riley Lynch. He had Jallo, but Jallo realized he was offsides initially.
Don't want to get that 6 offsides.
The shot. A nice, comfortable save by Glorioso. That was a nice, solid opportunity for Jallo there. Made sure to put that shot on frame. Unfortunately, right at Glorioso, but at least it wasn't high and wide. Cleveland on the attack now. Here's Rimac. Shot. I believe that was Connor Hain. That was high and wide for Cleveland. He was in a good spot. He'll certainly want that one back. And we've got a substitution here for Cleveland. I think it's Eric McDonald is coming on. And coming off, number 26, Noah Elbana. I'm going to just echo the sentiment of my social media man here. He mentions just feels wrong to see a number one player on the field and not in goal. Certainly not something I'm used to. I don't think anybody's used to if you watch enough soccer. But we know jersey numbers aren't necessarily a consistent thing from team to team. Here's Jallo again. Just running into traffic, electing not to shoot and retain possession for Fort Wayne. Lopsiger. Playing back to McAleenan. I think that was a smart move by Jallo. He was just running into traffic, wasn't going to be able to get a clean shot off. Elected to retain possession. And Lopsiger looked 1 or 2 yards offsides.
Yeah, back to Jallo's run there. As much as the fans really wanted him to put a shot on frame there, I just think there were too many bodies in front of him. It wouldn't have been a great chance for them to try to find something else there. Just ended up with an offside during the build.
Lopsiger wins the ball off of Joseph Rimac. Fort Wayne moving quickly up the field. Moriyasu plays a ball in. Lynch. The touch from Brown is going to put Riley Lynch on the end of it, and he does well to get in front of him. Good defending by Brown there just to slow Lynch down a little bit. Jallo's cross knocked off the Cleveland player, and it's going to be a corner kick for Fort Wayne. And the dog over there on the sideline, disappointed. Not able to get a touch on the ball.
Maybe we can talk about maybe getting him as a ball dog next year.
We need to elicit more ball dogs out there. Humane Fort Wayne, if you're watching, definitely use them. Cross delivered into Frank, just over the head of Sproat, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Kind of like those bat dogs. Have you seen those in minor league baseball?
Yeah, I think we'll call our baseball friends over there at the Tin Caps, Jake the Diamond Dog.
There you go.
Every so often is in service collecting bats for the Tin Caps. A foul against Cleveland here.
And just looking at the fouls, Fort Wayne has played a very, very clean game. You know, only picking up from what I have, just one foul against Cleveland's 8 fouls.
I was gonna say you have to be approaching double digits if we weren't there already. Surprisingly, only one yellow card in those 9 foul total. Which really from both sides, I know there's been 8 fouls, but there hasn't been a whole lot of hard tackling and
There you go. There's the play-by-play curse right there.
nothing too late, putting anybody in danger. We got a substitution here, getting ready to come in for Fort Wayne. Usman Jallo, I believe, is going to be the player coming off. And in his place, Miles Cornwall, number 29. And I have to imagine that's going to push Emawako perhaps out to the left side and drop Lynch in, although Emawako doing well as the number 10. The chip to Lynch is no good. He's called offsides. Here comes that substitution. Usman Jallo, a good showing tonight for Fort Wayne. I'd say the impetus of the first goal for Fort Wayne. And getting a final run out for the boys in blue, or at least as it stands with the Valley Division standings, Miles Cornwall, one of the few former professional players on the team, getting a final showing. And if you've watched it all this year, you know Miles Cornwall, he's going to bring some speed and he's going to bring some aggression in the final 25 minutes of the match here.
I like it. Fresh legs.
Yeah. Smart move by Coach Avery. Foul against Alex Frank. Not happy about that. And things have gone from bad to worse for the Dayton Dutch Lions in very quick manner. 64th minute. And South Bend are now up 7-0 on the Dutch Lions, which is not an unfamiliar scoreline for them this year. There have been multiple matches where they've had 5, 6, 7 goals dropped on them. Maybe they sneak in a goal late. And if my math is correct, or at least my memory is correct, the math should be, that puts them on a minus 39 goal differential in 14 matches.
That's an insane stat.
You have to feel bad for the Dayton players. You know they're doing everything they can to put a product on the field, but just not up to snuff this year, unfortunately, with most of the league.
As here comes Fort Wayne with Lynch sending a ball in.
Dangerous cross delivered in. Glorioso does well to hang on to it. That cross had some pace on it too, so if he were to spill that, there were a couple Fort Wayne players ready to pounce on it.
And look who was in there. It was Miles Cornwall.
Miles Cornwall in the mix.
I'm telling you, that man will be all over the place for the rest of this match.
that is a great observation by social media man Joey. You don't have a name like Miles if you don't cover some miles. And the ball through to Graham. He's on. But his first touch lets him down.
I don't think that he thought that he was going to be onside right there.
Well, and it looked like it came off of a Dayton defender foot just briefly, maybe slowing that ball down just a little bit. Good play by Graham. Here's Lopsiger trying to find Amawako or Lynch. Dayton, excuse me, can't keep my team straight. Cleveland Force, one of the teams from Ohio. Cleveland Force doing well to stick foot in there to stop the attack.
And I think this is something that Fort Wayne has done so well all season, is being able to stop the counterattack, dropping numbers back with the amount of blue jerseys back versus the amount of white jerseys up forward for Cleveland. It makes it really, really hard to break away, especially with the speed of our outside players.
We've got another substitution for Cleveland getting ready to come on, but we're going to try to make something happen first. Touch from Hoover, just a little too big. Fort Wayne ended up with it at least temporarily, but a bad pass by Harris gives it right back to the Force. Joseph Rimac getting on the end of that pass there. Kyle Folds in the middle calling for it. Rimac does well to evade the defense of Harris. Fort Wayne piling the numbers in. The shot by Connor Hain in the firm grasp of Ryan Burig. Not a whole lot of pace on that. Looked like Hain was trying to curl that back post, but wasn't able to strike it correctly, and Burig able to collect it. And here comes that substitution for Cleveland. Coming off, Quinn Groves. And in his place, number 3, Christopher Kessler. So another defensive substitution for the Force. And Cleveland traveling actually with a pretty light team. I think they only had 4 substitutes total, and they've used 3 of them already. Emawako trying to play Lynch through, not able to do so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Fort Wayne tries to empty out their bench, get some players some minutes, with this being the regular season finale for both teams here, actually.
Burig just under a little spot of bother there, but clears his lines at least temporarily. Hoover, dispossessed by Lopsiger, does very well in a very dangerous opportunity. You stick a foot inside the box, you're always risking it. But Lopsiger does very well to at least poke the ball off of him and put Cleveland back just a little bit. And a lot of times, if an attacking player feels that pressure on them, they might try to go down and draw a penalty. And
Oh, I know. I've done that at least once or twice.
Lopsiger able to evade detection by Cleveland, and Fort Wayne coming the other way with it. Good tackle by Brown. Forces a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Lopsiger, I was going to say, unnoticed here, but just able to have pressure put on him, but great first touch by Lopsiger. Fort Wayne still fighting for it. Shot off.
Trying to look for number 3 was Max Amawako.
You just sense the excitement from the crowd here. Nice sized crowd tonight for the final season, or the final match of the regular season. There's certainly something you want to see headed in to the off season and trying to grow the club and the community certainly got some fans behind the team. Cornwall puts a man on skates, and the deflection off the Cleveland player goes in. It's going to be an own goal against Cleveland, but it doesn't matter. Riley Lynch going to be happy about the result. And Fort Wayne now up 3-0 here at Shields Field in the 76th minute. They're going to feel hard done by that, Cleveland is, but Cornwall did very well to put his defender on the ground there and
As I told
looking
you,
back to find Lynch at the top of the box.
Miles Cornwall.
He'll make it happen if you need it to.
And you talk about the fans here tonight. And we turn around and reward the fans with a goal right there. And what's great to see is the amount of people out here from Fort Wayne and just seeing the community that's supported the soccer and the growth of Fort Wayne FC. It's been really great.
Yeah, I have to imagine, regardless of how the season ends, Fort Wayne players and Fort Wayne fans are going to be pretty happy about the end product here. I believe I read that Fort Wayne was the joint most improved team in League Two this season. And you can definitely tell the product on the field.
And it's looking like we're going to have some substitutions coming in here for Fort Wayne FC pretty soon.
So before the corner kick, 2 substitutes, as Hannah has mentioned.
As it looks like there's a bit of bickering in the box between Cornwall and a Cleveland player.
You love to see it. Just that bit of energy from Cornwall. Posey Graham lining up for the shot. Got a hold of it well, but deflected. Blocked by the Cleveland players. Lynch gives it the old college try, and unfortunately not able to put that shot on frame. Goal kick for Cleveland. And here's your substitutes. Abbas Ajibade coming on for Adam McAleenan. And Tristan Ronstadt-Stevens coming on for, I'm guessing, Dakota Leipziger. Excuse me, Will Harris is going to be the one coming off, the 4th official.
And you want to talk about a crowd favorite is Will Harris, coming back with the second year here with Fort Wayne FC.
Yeah, one of the very few players who are back for a second season. Harris, Emawako, Reed Sproat, Pep Casas. Only about 5 or 6 players.
So Harris getting the ovation he deserves from the crowd here tonight. Well played season by both Harris and Sproat on that back line, those 2 center backs. That combination worked really, really well for Coach Avery this past season.
Yeah, certainly so. And Sproat able to do well here to shield off some pressure from Cleveland. I will say, we've been critical of the Fort Wayne back line in the past, especially last year, and they weren't without fault this year. A few questionable opportunities they let in, but nonetheless, much improved. And I think having a second year together, Sproat and Harris, you learn your partner's idiosyncrasies. The more you play, it's certainly never a bad thing getting more time to gel with your teammates. So we'll switch out to Joseph Rimac. He's able to settle it. Here's McLaughlin. The shot. He was in a pretty decent position, but puts it high and wide. And final round of substitutes for Fort Wayne. Mustafa Katab is coming on the last 10 minutes of the match. Riley Lynch is off. Riley Lynch's season is over, and what a heck of a season it's been. The second substitute, Garrett Bloom, coming in for Dakota Lopsicker, and a goalkeeper change for Fort Wayne. Johnny Mennel is coming on, and Ryan Burig coming off. And a heck of a season for these players. A well-deserved applause by the fans. Flick on from Jallo, and Katab not able to get on the end of it. Katab's another one of those players who's been injured for a good chunk of the season. He got a few minutes here or there.
Got some good minutes in I think it was the Indy 11 friendly.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, the Indy 11 friendly. But then hasn't featured a whole lot for Fort Wayne, and perhaps for good reason. I know we went out to training a couple of times to talk with the guys, and it seemed like he was visiting the trainer those couple of times that we've been in there. So whether it be by injury or perhaps better options in front of him, hasn't featured a whole lot here, and he's one of those professional players from last year who has come down to try to build this team up. And if not on the field, I'm guessing off the field, he was an impact player. And those older players with those younger guys, they typically always are.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show like the competitiveness within this team to have as many options as Coach Avery has. I mean, he has Mustafa Katab, he has Riley Lynch, he has Max Amarwako, Forster Ajago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the depth of this year's team was quite impressive, and that was something that Coach Avery and we chit-chatted about at the beginning of the season. You know, that's something that they were aiming to do from day one with recruiting, and I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the match, is you want to put as many dangerous players on your squad as possible. I think this season has shown what kind of depth Fort Wayne was able to have this season. Here's Sproat, who's been pushed out to right fullback. Garrett Bloom making the swap with him. Fort Wayne still pressing high. You can see three players sitting on the back line there of Fort Wayne, or of Cleveland. Still trying to battle. Alex Frank, not called for a foul. I'm thinking he thought he was going to be called for one, but
I think everybody else on the pitch did too.
I think I did too. The way he stopped a little bit there, I think he thought he was going to get called for a foul, but referee says nothing doing. They did have a good opportunity to put Nkosi Graham in back behind the Cleveland line, but not able to recognize it. Cornwall driving into the box, using that speed.
Just can't get around it.
Left-footed cross. Goes wandering, and it's going to be a goal kick for Cleveland. Ball bouncing around here. Comes out to Kyle Folds. Here's Joseph Rimac. McLaughlin trying to play Hoover through, but Moriyasu does well just to step in the path of that pass. Long ball goes undelivered.
We sit here in the 86th minute. I don't know how much stoppage time is going to be on the clock here. I would have to imagine maybe a minute or so.
Well, and we've had a couple of rounds of substitutions that have taken a minute or so as well, so I'd be surprised. Yeah, certainly so. Any more than 2, I'd probably be surprised. Joey says 3. Hannah says 1, I say 2. Joey says 3. It'll certainly be 7 because
put your guesses down in the comments.
Yes. And we know sometimes referees just pick their favorite number of the half. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 6.
If I was a referee, I'd say 7 every time. That's going out for a corner.
Corner kick for Fort Wayne here in the dying minutes.
Looks like Maxim Waka is going to send this in for Fort Wayne.
Here's that ball delivered in. Dangerous spot. Shaquille Brown, like he's done most of the night, able to get ahead on it. Clear his line, at least initially. Ball delivered back in. Goes over the crossbar for a goal kick.
Yeah, I can't quite tell if Amawaka was trying to put that shot on frame or if he was trying to send that in. Either way, just didn't get his hips around it enough to give it an honest try. I mean, he has played 88 minutes.
Yeah, 88 minutes. The end of the season.
With 2 goals.
Amawaka, one of the older players as well on this team, I believe. He was a graduate player this past season. I know if it were me out there end of the season, my legs would be a little weary, so.
My legs would have been weary after game 1. So.
Well, yeah, mine too, because I'm a goalkeeper, so I don't really run a whole lot.
I was a midfielder that shouldn't played in the midfield. Did not have the endurance for that position.
Yeah, it takes a special player to be box to box, that's for sure.
As we have some Fort Wayne fans down there.
Waving the flags for Fort Wayne FC.
Great turnout for fan appreciation night, by the way. I know we've talked on that a couple of times, but the community that came out here to support this team tonight is amazing.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that, at least here in the short term, soccer's here to stay in Fort Wayne. We know there's been aspirations for the team to move up to League One. Nice cross in from Moriyasu, but able to clear.
Yeah, just those little kids probably having the time of their lives. Probably won't ever forget that, being able to run those flags.
Yeah, and in a town like Fort Wayne, you certainly want to show and prove that you're not just a good soccer team, but you're a good atmosphere for the family. And I think we've proved that this season.
Here's Amawako finding Cornwall wide.
Cornwall delivers it in.
I don't know how.
Flashes across the goal mouth, and I'm surprised there wasn't a foul called there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Nkosi went to ground right there. Almost as if he got tripped up by a Cleveland player. Regardless, it's going to be a throw for Cleveland.
That was the first time Shaquille Brown's been beaten with speed the entire night.
Yeah, Brown has done very well for Cleveland. 1 minute, I'm the winner.
So we've got the winner. 1 minute of stoppage time. for Fort Wayne.
We get a foul here against Alex Frank.
Well, we got a bit of a break here. Just wanted to thank our sponsors for the match day. ProFed Credit Union, Fort Wayne Newspapers, and Baden Gage and Schroeder CPA and Business Consultants. Without your help, we would certainly not be able to put on such a great show. So thank you very much to all of our sponsors this season for helping us be able to do what we do.
Yes, thank you to those generous sponsors. As Kim would always say,